Hey there, good morning. It is morning somewhere, right? I'm your host, Jeff Ski Kinsey, and this is a Sunday in September. There aren't many of those left, if any. Okay, before we know it, October's going to be here. So if you had anything that you were trying to get done for September, you got like a few days to get out there and make it happen. So what am I excited about today? Well, a lot, but just came back from an amazing road trip. It was, I love road trips, by the way. I actually love the whole concept of road trips, except the actual driving of the road trip. But why do I do that? This was kind of like a dealer's choice. I could have drove, I could have flown, but when you fly, you chew up pretty much a whole day, getting ready, getting to the airport, waiting in line, getting wherever you're going. Maybe there's connections. So I think the mileage, I forget now, I think it was somewhere around 400 miles. Is that? No. It was supposed to be 7 hours if I could drive without stopping or making very quick pit stops. So, anyhow, and what did I learn on this road trip? I learned a lot. I'm working on a marketing project for Rhino Island Media. And the cool thing about it is this is in the manufacturing, the production world. And hopefully we'll have out of this a new client, a new company to list us as the agency of record for their marketing. So that's kind of cool. But what is it that's so exciting about marketing? Well, remember what the late Dr. Ellie Goldratt said. He said, marketing is figuring out that your ducks like and eat corn. Okay, you have to figure that out. Here's the problem. 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you hear somebody say, hey, help me market my business. They're really saying advertise. Help me get the word out. Okay, that's advertising. Marketing is figuring out what it is you should be selling in the first place. So for example, let's say that you're a restaurant. Maybe you're a fast food restaurant, and my new client is not. But let's say you were. Okay, you might want to promote the fact that your operation is the fastest. Okay, you could use speed as a concept. Okay, so let's take that one more step. Who are your ducks? Okay, and I love use cases for this, by the way. So who are your ducks? Okay, people that need their food fast. And that could be a lot of reasons. There are still some people, some places, some environments where they only get a half hour for lunch. Okay, and in many cases, they don't have the ability to go to the restaurant, get their food and come back. Hence DoorDash and the other Uber Eats and all those guys. But so you figured out, and remember, ducks love lakes. Goldratt said, marketing is figuring out that ducks like and eat corn. Advertising is spreading that corn on the shore of the lake for the ducks to see it, come, land, and eat. And then he said, selling is shooting those sitting ducks, which I believe is illegal in almost every state. And he said, if you get all those pieces just right, and you used to make this, get all those pieces just right, it's as if the ducks have glue on their feet and they can't get away. Aha. But what he didn't do, and when I interviewed him years ago, what was it? It was the year 2000. I think it was December of 2000 when I was creating TOC Review Magazine. When I interviewed him, he said, look, I come up with these ideas, these concepts, I proved in a sense, these are my words, he proves in a sense this thing works. And then he says, I leave it to others to flesh it out. For example, like Bill Detmer in the logical thinking process. When the marketing space, and he called It's Not Luck, his only real marketing book, if you will. And it's not, quote, a marketing book. But he said in the interview that I did with him that's in the premier issue of TOC Review Magazine, he said, look, I leave it to others to flesh it out. And I think he left it to me to take marketing to the next step, which is a lot to do about the lakes, which he never mentioned. And my favorite expression here is you want to market at the lake that your ducks are already going to. Okay, it is extremely expensive and very unlikely that you will succeed in convincing ducks to come from their favorite lake to your favorite lake. That's a tough road, okay? It's much easier to get your corn in front of them at their lake, in my experience. And so, back to the restaurant and the speed example. So, if speed is one of your components, okay, then you want ducks that are going to a lake that's fast to get in and out of, right? They have this concept. Let's call it, it's not a channel. Let's call it a marketplace, right? That's what it is. And there's many channels that, might feed the lake or the feed flows out into. And so there are a number of channels, like DoorDash is a channel, maybe to this lake. So if you're into fast food and you need it fast, okay, speed's a component. So you're looking for restaurants, you're going to lakes, where you can get it fast. Sometimes I've worked at places where the mall, the food court was the place to go for speed. That's no longer true in the little community I live in Dover, New Philadelphia. I think there's 2 restaurants left. Sbarro's, which is in every mall, I think, and a local restaurant of sorts. And restaurants, it's a food court, it's not a quote restaurant, but anyhow. So we need to market the fact that your company offers speed as one of its components, one of its core components, okay? And then we need to get that message out, and we're going to test it with advertising. We might test it with word of mouth. So, hey, I went way long to say marketing, I think, is some of the most fun you can do with your clothes on. And I'm excited about a new project, a new client, and hopefully we'll be listed as their marketing agency of record, which is kind of a big deal. But if you have questions about marketing, reach out. You have not because you asked not.